and welcome to the next Build Your Own X-Wing video, and we are going to be looking at issues 23 and 24 this time. But just as I am doing during this weird lockdown world craziness period, I'm just going to give a little face-to-face part at the start of this video, just to help us all feel a bit more connected. I know some of you out there will be kind of isolated by yourself, or in situations where you could just do with a bit of a chat about topics that hopefully are interested to you. And you watch this channel, so I guess you might be some of those people, so that's why I am doing this. How's everyone going with the old lockdown? Is everyone okay? I personally have found it quite useful in terms of physical health, because I have spent quite a lot of time devoting to these guns here, devoting to building up my arms, as you can see in this clip.
I hope you're all warmed up.
Who would have thought it'd be this close? I believe in you! You are in the zone! How much training do you do? Poetry in motion. You're better than I thought. How much training do you do? I can't get enough of those beautiful muscles! You are in the zone! Yeah, Jules! Show that filthy how it's done! I believe in you! Who would have thought it'd be this close? How much training do you do? Poetry in motion. You're better than I thought. You can do it, Jules! We're rooting for you! You are in the zone! How much training do you do? Slow and steady. 1, 2, 1, 2!
You can do better than that. Much better.
I am, of course, joking. The only kind of exercise I've been doing really is these thumbs as I continue to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is brilliant. But something interesting did happen on Friday. I got this big box delivered to me, which is all a bit bizarre anyway. And he had DeAgostini tape around the side. And what it was the next set of three issues, and also some extra stuff. So just to talk about the 3 issues, first of all, it's gone down to 3 issues from 5 a month. That way they can maintain supply and demand, is what the little letter said. I'm just going to get the next thing here. Look at this. Boba Fett statue. Free gift. I totally forgot about the free gifts that we would be getting with this build. But this did come through. And it was a very nice surprise. And I just want to show you what it looks like now. So it comes packaged more or less like this. They've learned their lesson from the Han Solo, and they've put kind of protective wrapping around the gun and other parts. And if I just open it here, it's attached with this wire normally, and I'll just take this out, take off the protective parts, and here we have Boba Fett. Look at that. And I really, really love this. I love this more than the Han Solo. I'll do a little comparison in a second. But there, the only slight warp I have is on the gun. It slightly goes up, but the rest of it's immaculate. I love the helmet. I love the weathering on the back of the helmet. Look at that. The jetpack's fantastic. The cape is well painted. There's weathering on the knees. I can see here, and detail, paint detail there. Now, Boba Fett's boots on this have little pegs. Is that the case? I didn't realise that it did. On the real suit, it must do. And then we've got kind of some decals there, which are lovely. But I really, really love this Boba Fett model. It's really, really nice. And on the bottom, we have here Boba Fett. Oh, you can see it because of the glare. There we go. You can read that. And it's a really, really nice addition to my Star Wars collection. Now, if I just get my Han Solo, which is somewhere. Here it is. Now, I've had this 5-6 years now, and it has been through the wars a bit, sadly. He is missing some fingers. I don't know where they've popped off on, and I'm pretty sure there was a piece attached there as well. But on the whole, he's okay. You know, the gun's still intact, which is nice. He's got a bit of paint chipping on the chin. It doesn't look like Harrison Ford, and I think that is why I enjoy the Boba Fett model statue more than the Han Solo, because obviously they didn't need to do a face. They're obviously not very good at faces. I mean, it's all right, but it's not great. But they didn't have to do a face, they just had to do a helmet with Boba Fett, so it's pretty cool. Now, the bases are there. Scale-wise, Boba Fett is short. Bear in mind that Han Solo is bending down, so when he stands up, he'll be towering over Boba Fett, so the scale is a little off. But Boba Fett, you know, it's Boba Fett. You can't really go wrong with the little Boba Fett statue. So that was amazing, as well as getting 3 issues, meaning that I can continue. It looks like I will be able to continue the pace of these videos sequentially every 2 weeks, which is lovely, without any more gaps. So yeah, let me know if you have got your Boba Fett figure. Let me know what you think of it. I also got a tin plate as well, but I'm not going to open it because I've already got it. It looks like this. If anyone wants one, I can post it to them, but I guess if you're watching this and doing the build, you're going to get one eventually. Or if you've done the Falcon, you got one with the Falcon as well. So yeah, that was a very exciting little Friday afternoon treat for myself, which I didn't expect. Very welcome in these times. Yeah, let me know if you've got your Boba Fett. Let me know how you get on with issue supply wherever you are in the world. Are you still getting your issues in okay, or has there been some hiccups? Please let me know. I'll be very interested to know. Enough about that. Let's get on with this video now. And here we can see issues 23 and 24 ready to be opened. And they, of course, have more pieces for the next wing of this X-Wing. So I've opened them all up. And the first piece we have is this nice big engine part here. Now, this is going to be slightly different to the wing part that we have done before. So I hope you look forward to that. We'll just put that aside for now. The first real parts that we're working on is this part here and this part here, and you'll see that there is a big hole there and a small hole there, and then there's a thicker peg there and a thinner peg there. What you need to do is just push those pegs in. That little one is causing a bit of trouble. There we go, and that just slots in there like that, nice and simple. And then we need to bring this part back, and I need to make sure that I get it the right way around. It is this way around. You'll see it has got a cutout hole here for this piece, and we have a screw hole here and a kind of guide hole, a guide peg here. So that just sits in very nicely there like that, and we just screw that in, which I'm just going to go ahead and do now. There we go, that is that all screwed in, and that was a very short screwing in section. You will hear some more of Samuel Kim's music going forward, so stay tuned for that. And that is all we have to do in issue 23. Before we move on to 24, I just want to say, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a like, it would really help me out and help out the channel in these weird times. It does something with the algorithm, and leaving a like would be very, very helpful. So thank you very much for doing that. So let's move on to the nice juicy parts then of this build. The next part that we're going to look at is this black part here. Nice cylinder, circle shape, can't talk. And we need to get this part installed onto this engine part here, and it is very simple to do that. You'll see it's got 2 peg holes there, and we have 2 pegs there. We need to make sure that this knotted part here fits in the mounting post between the castings, and it will sit flush. Okay, so when it's all done, you will want this notch pit facing this way, away from this rim part here. So I just need to make sure that this goes in correctly, and line it all up and push it in. Now it is slightly harder to line up because it is on a circle, but I think there we go. If you heard that click, so it goes in like that. We've got that notch part facing away from this ridge part here. And that's the first part of the inside of the engine that we are doing. The next part is this flat grey part here. And what we need to do is just install this very nice textured part there. I really like this part there. Really nicely moulded, really well textured, and it's just a case again of pushing the pegs into the corresponding holes that they need to go in, like that. Make sure that they are pushed in flush. This one comes out a little more. I have a feeling that we'll come on to that very shortly, why it does that. And yeah, that is the next part of the internal engine all done. And of course, I mean by very shortly, I mean now. So we are putting the next cone part in there. We have this slight ridged part here and this peg that has come out there. We just line them up with these holes like so. Really, there we go. Push it in so make sure it clicks. And push that side in as well because there is a slight gap there. That isn't wanting to take as well, but I'm sure it will in time when we add more pieces. I've pushed in as hard as I can, and there's still like a slight ridge there, which is a bit of a pain. And that is not wanting to go in anymore. Hammer it in. No. Okay, that's a bit bizarre, but that is okay. The next part that we are going to put in is this part here. Now, it has two pins. One is slightly longer, so this one is slightly longer. That pin there, and the shorter one. You want the longer pin into the lower half of the gyro cone, and the shorter one sticking out. So gyro cone. There we go. Just remember what that's called. So you put the longer pin into that hole there, like that, sticking out there like that, and that is that engine part. All really nearly done. The very last part that we have to do is push it all onto this part here. Just move that screwdriver. Push it all onto this part here. It's got another little notch there. You see it's got two pegs there. They go into the bottom of these two pegs this way. So make sure that we push that in. Cool, come on. Oh, are there slightly larger holes? Yes. That does make sense. Ah, flip it around. There we go. I worked it out. There we go. So that goes in there like that. And that is the internal part of the engine as you see it through that wind turbine gyro part. It'll make sense when I put it all together. Okay, so bringing back this part with that ridge. That ridge obviously corresponds to this part. So what we need to do is there's a little nub in there, and that just needs to fit in there like that. Now I struggle doing that this time. Oh no, sorry. It's on this part here. It corresponds with this line here. It's got molded line there until then, and it's gapped up, and that of course makes that sit in there. Make sure I get it the right way around, so it's facing outwards, the gyro cone, and then it just slots very nicely in there. There's little grooves either side for it to go in, slight grooves. Can you see that there? And there, and that will sit nice and flush there. And then we bring in this part. I need to make sure we get it the right way around. So the painted part obviously corresponds with this painted part on here, and we just need to make sure it all lines up. And there's a little tiny hole just there below that ridge, and that's where this part will go in. So this is going to be a little fiddly to do, especially because the lighting is so bad. Let me just do this off camera. Be right back. Oh, no, sorry. Right, I know what I'm doing wrong. First of all, I did just have to really push that cone part together. You see there's no gap now. Millimeters do really count there. The way you attach it is there's two holes there, one there and one there, and there's two lugs on this part. Just to show you how that goes in, you push them in there like that, and then you flip it around, and we have to screw it in there and there. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw that in now. And there we have it all done. That is nice and secure, screwed in now, but it is slightly misaligned on mine. You see, this is where it's meant to go, and it doesn't quite sit right. I'm starting to think that maybe I did something wrong along the way, but it just doesn't seem to sit along that line. And this there's a little gap just there as well. See how that plays out when we put the rest of the engine on at a later date, because it might still sit further back. But for now, I'm going to leave it like that, just for interest of time. And you do get a sense of what it will look like. This big thrusting engine there is all installed, ready for the next part. So the next part is this part, and it is something that we haven't seen before. This is brand new parts, which is pretty cool. This engine part obviously looks similar to this, and we have a screw hole here and a screw hole here, and two kind of placement holes for these two placement parts and these two screw holes here. So I'm just going to line up the placement holes and the screw holes there and push them in. You see, that is where it will sit, and we'll screw that down. I'll screw that down. I'll screw it down now, actually. And there is that part all screwed on. Now, the reason I was hesitating about screwing it on, because there's other parts obviously to go on that need to be screwed down as well, but I do think that this needs to be secure before we move on to those parts, because these next two parts here are hinged doors for the X-Wing landing gear, which is pretty awesome. So obviously this is a lower wing, not an upper wing as we've done before, and they will install on there like that. So let's do this properly. So what you need to do is, you see you've got holes here, holes here. We have these two hinge parts here, so we just need to feed through the pegs of these hinge parts. It's best if we make it closed. They will pop out here. So there's one in. I can't seem to quite get the other one in. It's got to be away. So fit the hinges. I mean, the instructions do say fit the hinges through the hole. Maybe it's the wrong one. Maybe they are. They're designed perfectly to stop idiots like me messing it up. So these hinges are slightly thinner on this door than they are on this door. When I put the right door on, the hinges fit perfectly. Look at that. So if I just put this one in, the hinges fit perfectly as well, he says. Hoping that they fit perfectly as well. Yes, they do. Good. Oh wow, fantastic design. It really does cater for the dumb model maker like myself. Brilliant. And then what we need to do is flip this over, and you see there's lots of holes here, but there's holes here for these parts which will hold those hinges in place. No, hold on just a second. So I'm just checking the instructions. Just making sure I get the right holes, because that would be embarrassing. Yes, so it is these ones that are slightly indented. They're probably different sized as well. And we just slide that piece over there. That doesn't seem to fit, so will it fit on this one? It does. And then this one should fit on this one. Hopefully. It's a slight angle, so let me just flip it around. Okay. That is not the neatest fits, so I wonder if it's just a bit of trial and error, making sure I get the right one, because they are the same piece. They look exactly the same. Okay, yeah, so that does fit in there like that. I've just noticed there's a number 2 there. There's probably number 2 corresponding with this hinge part as well, isn't there? Yeah, okay, there's number 2 hidden there as well. Pay attention to the numbers, and this will have a number 1 on it. It does. And then, of course, this will go over this part here for that 1. Okay, so it is all done by numbers. So what I'm going to do is do the final screwing down part of the video, and then I'll be right back with you. There we have it. Those two pieces nice and firmly in, and then we have the undercarriage for this X-Wing. So when it's closed, it looks like that, and then of course we can prise it open like that, and the landing gear will come out of those doors there. Very, very cool. Looking forward to getting that landing gear as well. Very nice. It does fit in. There we go. It does attach perfectly like that. And then we have that part there, which may cause problems in the future. But I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks' time when I return for the next part of this build. I hope you all are keeping healthy and happy and distracted and safe during this time. Hope this helped alleviate some of the cabin fever. Like I say, join me in 2 weeks' time for the next X-Wing build, because we have a lot of issues to get through now. I'm very excited that hopefully it should be simple running from now on, despite everything going on. And I will see you then. So until then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.